Welcome to Long Walker Outdoors, your destination for all things hunting, shooting, and the boundless wonders of the great outdoors. At Long Walker Outdoors, we live and breathe the thrill of the hunt, the crackle of a campfire, and the camaraderie that comes with sharing stories of our outdoor adventures. Whether you're a seasoned hunter with decades of experience or a newcomer eager to learn the ropes, this is the place for you. Join us on our podcast and YouTube channel as we delve deep into the world of hunting and shooting, from tips and tactics for bagging that trophy buck or nailing the perfect shot, to gear reviews, destination spotlights, and interviews with experts in the field. We've got you covered. So whether you're a bow hunter stalking game through the whispering pines, a rifle enthusiast testing your marksmanship against distant targets, or someone who finds solace in the serenity of nature, Long Walker Outdoors is your home away from home. Join us as we embark on this wild and wonderful journey, exploring the untamed beauty of the great outdoors and celebrating the traditions and passions that unite us as hunters, shooters, and lovers of all things wild. So let's lock and load, hit the trail, and make memories that will last a lifetime. And welcome to Long Walker Outdoors, where every hunt is an adventure and every shot tells a story. In the world of mountain lion hunting, experience is vital. It's not just about tracking down this elusive predator. It's about understanding their behavior, mastering the art of calling, and making every shot count. For the average Joe or Jolene venturing into this realm, there is a wealth of knowledge to be gained from those who spend years honing their skills. This episode series delves into advice on scouting, essential gear, tracking techniques, calling strategies, and the crucial art of making the first shot count. With the proper knowledge, skills, and mindset, anyone can embark on this exhilarating adventure and emerge with memories that will last a lifetime. In this episode, we will discuss what makes the right gun for mountain lion hunting. This was an exciting episode to research, since I got to geek out a little bit on this subject. I have a lot of fun talking about rifles and cartridges, and I hope what we talk about today will help you when you are standing in front of your gun cabinet wondering which one to pick. So, what makes a good mountain lion gun? Well, I think a good lion gun should be light and well balanced with a natural point of aim. Get something that is light, around 5 or 6 pounds, and has a compact 16-inch or 18-inch barrel. The action should run smoothly, be simple in operation, and rugged. Most bolt-action and lever-action rifles fit this bill very well. But an AR-15-based platform will perform just as well in most scenarios. Just keep in mind that they are a little more finicky, and you may have to take care of them a little bit better. Get one with a short, carbon-length barrel to save some weight while increasing the handling. Avoid most varmint-style AR-15s with the longer and heavier barrels. Personally, even though I took my first cab with an MSR chambered in 6.5 Grendel, it wouldn't be my first choice now. Although wonderfully accurate with quick follow-up shots, that rifle is just too heavy for my personal tastes. As far as sights go, they generally boil down to 2 main options. We have scopes or we have fixed sights. I wouldn't really recommend any sight that relies on batteries, such as a red dot. Mr. Murphy always seems to show up to ruin your day when he has the opportunity, and having a set of batteries that could go down just seems like too much of a temptation for Mr. Murphy. Also, batteries do tend to drain faster in frigid weather, which is often encountered during the season, and is just one more reason not to use them. Now, fixed sights are a really great option. They're rugged and less likely to malfunction or get bumped out of zero while climbing around the mountains. I prefer a ghost ring with a bladed front sight when using fixed sights. I believe this gives you the greatest balance of fast target acquisition and precise shot placement. I don't really care for the traditional buckhorn type of rear sight that comes standard on most lever-action rifles. A couple of good companies that provide excellent front and rear sight replacement options are X-Sights and Skinner Sights. They have options for most Winchester, Henry, and Marlin lever-action rifles. Generally, when changing the sights, it's as simple as removing a couple of screws and tapping out the dovetail mounts and installing the new one. When replacing the rear sight with a ghost ring, it's often necessary to replace the front sight with a taller version. This is due to the greater sight height of the ghost ring compared to the factory rear sight. As far as scopes go, I generally prefer a low-power variable or low-power fixed power scope. These seem to work very well and provide greater flexibility for those mid-range shots over fixed sights. Personally, I wouldn't carry a scope with a power higher than about 9. I just don't feel it's necessary. Most of your shots will be under 100 yards, and getting on target quickly and maximizing your viewing field will be more critical. A low power of somewhere between 1 and 3 is ideal. An objective lens of 40 or 44 millimeters should be plenty for excellent light transmission in low light scenarios. Leopold has several models that do fit these requirements, and it's time-tested and proven company. In more of a budget option, Vortex makes excellent scopes for their price point and has a stellar warranty and customer service programs. Now that we've talked about what makes a good mountain lion rifle, let's talk about what to chamber it in. Like I talked about earlier, I'm kind of a cartridge and gun geek. So what I did was include a list of what I feel like are the top 4 old school and the top 4 new school cartridges for mountain lions. I promise not to get too deep into the details during this episode, but I do plan on deep diving into some of the ones on this list in later episodes. Mountain lions are generally not what I would call tough animals. Certainly, they don't seem to have the tenacious will to live like an elk or even a big mule deer. However, they do have a relatively small kill zone and can present a tricky frontal shot due to the narrowness of their torso. They also have a tendency to take hunters on a very long chase if they're hit with less than ideal shot placement. Realistically, any legal cartridge for deer will work for mountain lions. These will be just some of the ones that I feel are the best. So first off, let's talk about some of our classic old school cartridges. Although cartridge designs have advanced in leaps and bounds since the early days of sport hunting back in the early 1900s rather, many cartridges developed during that time period still hold great value and perform exceptionally well in the modern era, especially when you pair it with some of the more modern bullet options. These are my top 4 old school cartridges for hunting mountain lions. First off, we have the classic 30-30, originally named the 30 Winchester Centerfire, and it was introduced by Winchester in 1895. It quickly became popular due to its use in the Winchester Model 1894. The cartridge's name comes from its caliber, which is 30, and the original powder charge weight, which was 30 grains. Renowned for its versatility and effectiveness in hunting medium-sized game such as deer and black bear, the 30-30 cartridge has remained a favorite among hunters for over a century. Despite advancements in firearms technology, it does remain widely used and respected for its reliability and performance in the field almost 129 years later. This cartridge is typically chambered in lever actions by Henry, Marlin, and Winchester. It can be readily found anywhere you can purchase these rifles. Ammunition is also easy to find and can be purchased in many small-town hardware stores, and I've even seen it at Walmart. In my opinion, the most useful load for the 30-30 is the 160 grain flex tip by Hornady. This load generally produces around 2,300 to 2,400 feet per second, and if properly sighted, can provide a maximum point-blank range of around 225 yards, which at this range the bullet's still traveling over 1,900 feet per second and delivers about 1,370 foot-pounds. Next cartridge we have on our list is the venerable 270 Winchester, which was made famous by the late, great Jack O'Connor, who shot nearly every major game species in North America and Africa with it. It was introduced by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company in 1925, and it was developed by necking down the 30-06 to accept .277-inch bullets. Due to its flat trajectory and potent ballistic performance, the 270 quickly gained popularity among hunters. Over the years, the 270 Winchester remains a favorite choice for those seeking a powerful yet manageable cartridge for various hunting applications. Most major rifle manufacturers chamber this cartridge for bolt-action firearms, and Browning even chambers it in their semi-auto BAR. The typical loads for the 270 is a 130 grain bullet traveling between 3,000 and 3,100 feet per second. Zeroing this load 2 inches high at about 100 yards will give you a maximum point-blank range of almost 300 yards. At that range, the 270 still pushes that 130 grain bullet at 2,450 feet per second, and it impacts with over 1,700 foot-pounds of energy. The next cartridge we have on our list is the good old 35 Remington. It was introduced by Remington Arms Company in 1906, and it was renowned for its combination of power and manageable recoil, making it really well suited for a brush gun. Over the years, it's earned a reputation for its effectiveness in dense woods and thickets where short-range shooting is typical. You'll still find this cartridge used widely in the North Woods. While other cartridges have surpassed its popularity, the 35 Remington does continue to have a dedicated following among hunters who appreciates its characteristics and historical significance. This round is typically chambered in lever actions, and you can still find it in older Remington 141 Game Master pump actions. This is an excellent option for cat hunting. Hornady's 200 grain lever evolution load probably provides the best performance for this cartridge. Zeroing it at around 2.5 inches high at 100 yards will give you a point-blank hold out to around 200, delivering more than 1,600 foot-pounds of energy. The last cartridge on our list is the 257 Robert. The 257 Roberts was introduced by Remington Arms Company back in 1934. It was based on necking down the 7x57 Mauser to accept a .257-inch bullet. It quickly gained popularity amongst hunters for its flat trajectory and mild recoil. It makes a well-suited round for hunting small to medium-sized game and moderate ranges. It remains one of the 3 most popular SAMI-approved core-to-bore cartridges today. Typical velocities for factory-loaded ammunition commonly range between 2,800 feet per second and 3,200 feet per second for bullets in the 87 to 120 grain weight range when fired from a rifle with a standard barrel length of around 22 to 24 inches. Generally, I'd recommend bullets in that higher 120 grain weight range for mountain lions. Zeroing this rifle 2.5 inches high at 100 yards should put you dead on out to about 275. Plenty of distance for all of your hunting needs. At that distance, the bullet is still traveling over 2,300 feet per second and delivers around 1,400 foot-pounds of energy. This is a great multi-use cartridge for anything up to deer-sized game at moderate ranges. It has relatively low recoil and can be a great option for young or apologizer. It can be a great option for young or recoil-sensitive shooters. The 257 Roberts has faded somewhat in popularity over the years from its heyday, and sometimes ammunition can be hard to find. However, this is still a great old-school choice for mountain lions. Now, if I had to take one of these classic cartridges out mountain lion hunting for the rest of my life, I think the one that I would pick is the 30-30. It gives you plenty of knockdown power at the ranges that you're going to expect to encounter mountain lions. and you can chamber it in lever-action rifles, which are simple, easy to use, and offer fast follow-up shots with low recoil. It's a great option for individuals who are maybe a little more sensitive to recoil or younger shooters just getting into the sport. It's made everywhere. You can find ammunition all over the place, and it's chambered in many different types of rifles, making it easy to find and usually fairly inexpensive. Like I said, if I had to just choose one, I think this would be it, specifically for mountain lions. Now, if I was going to get a rifle that I was going to use for more than just mountain lions, let's say I was considering taking it out on a western mule deer hunt or a whitetail hunt here in South Dakota, I would probably go with the 270. It offers more range and more versatility because you can load it up to more 150 grain bullets and even take animals such as elk, or you can load it down into the 130 or even lower and use it as a great varmint rifle. Yeah, as great as the old school cartridges may be, cartridge and bullet design has really revolutionized the hunting world in the last 20 years or so. Even though many older cartridges still provide excellent service, there is no denying the advancements in design and efficiency of modern cartridges. Here are my top 4 cartridges developed over the past 20 years that I feel provide the best balance of efficiency and knockdown power. The first on our list is the 300 ACC Blackout, more commonly known simply as the 300 Blackout. This round was developed by Advanced Armament Corporation, or ACC, in collaboration with the Remington Defense around 2010. It was primarily designed for use in suppressed firearms and as a more versatile alternative to the 5.56. The 300 Blackout achieves this versatility by allowing the use of both supersonic and subsonic ammunition, offering flexibility for different applications. Its development was influenced by the desire for a cartridge compatible with the AR-15 platform that could provide improved performance in short-barreled rifles and offer better ballistic performance with subsonic rounds. The 300 Blackout has gained popularity for its effectiveness in suppressed firearms and its compatibility with existing platforms. Typical velocities for factory-loaded ammunition commonly range from around 1,900 feet per second to about 2,300 for bullets in the 110 to 220 grain weight range. Subsonic loads for this round usually have velocities below the speed of sound, therefore subsonic, at around 1,100 feet per second at sea level. The Hornady 135 grain FTX gives the 300 Blackout a maximum point-blank range of around 175 yards, wind 0 to a half inches high at 100 yards. This round delivers about 800 foot-pounds of energy at 1,600 feet per second. Now, I personally wouldn't really feel comfortable using subsonic loads in the 300 Blackout for mountain lion hunting. The bullet's trajectory is more akin to a rainbow than anything else, and at 100 yards, the 190th grain round only delivers about 375 foot-pounds of energy on target. Zeroing this round at 75 yards gives you a pretty dramatic point of impact shift of 2.25 above at 50, 3 3/4 below at 100, and about a little more than 10 inches at 125. A heavier 220 grain bullet will deliver more energy on target, but at the expense of an even greater ballistic arc. The 300 Blackout is an excellent option if you want to run suppressed. The supersonic loads will still remain quiet and provide good ballistics out to about 175 yards. Now, as long as you keep your shots to 75 yards or less, the subsonic loads will be sufficient and will have the added benefit of almost no sound coming from your rifle. In addition to modern sporting rifles, both Savage and Ruger chamber this round in some of their bolt-action rifles. And Henry also released a brand new Henry Supreme lever-action rifle at the 2024 SHOT Show that's chambered in 300 Blackout for you die-hard lever guys. This rifle takes standard AR magazines as well and is pre-threaded for suppressors. A great option. Next on our list is the 350 Legend, or the 350 Legend. Winchester introduced this cartridge in 2019 as a new addition to its lineup. It was specifically designed to offer high performance in modern sporting rifles while still meeting legal requirements for hunting in states with straight-walled cartridge restrictions. This cartridge does really well on medium-sized game out to moderate ranges. The case rim is the same diameter as the 223 Remington or the 5.56, which allows the use of the same bolt face, which is great for the AR platform. Typical velocities for factory-loaded ammunition range between 2,100 and 2,300 feet per second for bullets in the 150 to 180 grain weight range. Zeroing the 165 grain factory load, traveling at around 220 feet per second, 2.5 inches high at 100 yards, will give you a maximum point-blank range of about 200 yards, delivering just under 1,000 foot-pounds of energy at 1,650 feet per second. There are several different popular rifle models that are chambered in 350 Legend, to include the Ruger American, Winchester XPR, Mossberg Patriot, Savage Axis, the Winchester Model 94, and of course, various modern sporting rifle manufacturers. And next on my list is a 6.8 Western. This is the newest cartridge on this list, and it was introduced by Winchester and Browning in 2021. The 6.8 Western features a .277-inch diameter bullet and is designed to fit in a standard short-action rifle while delivering exceptional ballistic performance. Although developed specifically for long-range hunting applications, the short action and relatively low recoil, even in lightweight rifles, make it a viable pick for a mountain cartridge. The 6.8 Western fills a good niche between popular hunting cartridges such as the 6.5 PRC and the 300 Win Mag. It is, in essence, an updated version of the 270 Winchester Short Magnum, but just optimized for heavy for caliber .277 bullets. Typical velocities for factory-loaded ammunition commonly range between 2,800 feet per second and 3,000 feet per second for bullets in between 165 to 175 grains. Using my hand-loaded 165 grain ABLRs as an example, they go around 2,900 feet per second. I zero my rifle at 2.5 inches high at 100 yards, which gives me a point-blank zero of almost 325 yards on an 8-inch target. At that range, the bullet is still traveling over 2,400 feet per second and impacts with over 2,200 foot-pounds of energy. On a side note, the traditionally accepted velocity and impact energy for elk is around 2,000 feet per second and 1,500 foot-pounds. This cartridge carries that all the way and more out to 675 yards with this hand load. In my opinion, this is one of the best all-around cartridges currently on the market. Obviously, I have a sweet spot for this particular cartridge, so pardon my sidetrack there. Now getting back to it, this cartridge is really kind of on the higher end of that performance spectrum for the recommendations that I have here. And the rifles it comes chambered in do deviate somewhat from a couple of the quote-unquote best mountain lion rifle traits that I had listed. But if you're a new hunter just getting started and looking for the one cartridge to rule them all type of option, I really believe that this is the one. The 6.8 Western with its heavy for caliber, high BC bullets will give you more than adequate performance for any North American game species short of the big bears out past 500 yards, which is well beyond the ethical range for many hunters. So the last on my list is the little 6.5 Grendel. This was developed by Alexander Arms around 2004, and it was designed as a high-performance intermediate cartridge with really superior long-range accuracy and terminal ballistics in the AR-15 platform. The cartridge's name is derived from a mythical figure, Grendel, in the Old English epic poem Beowulf. The 6.5 Grendel gained a cult following but was never really widely known or accepted until SAMI approval in 2009. Even so, this cartridge is still one of the less widely known cartridges out there. However, it's really an outstanding cartridge and one of my favorites for mountain lions and really anything up to deer-sized animals at short to moderate ranges. Although this cartridge really was kind of built for the AR platform, it really shines in a bolt-action rifle. Ruger American Ranch is probably one of the handiest bolt-action rifles currently chambered for this round. It's a very budget-friendly rifle and still offers excellent quality and accuracy. Ruger American Ranch has an injection-molded stock and a short 16-inch barrel that is pre-threaded and balances really well with a suppressor. Ideal bullet loads for this cartridge range between 110 and 123 grains, which average velocity is around 2,500 to 2,800 feet per second. I personally shoot the 123 grain Hornady SSTs, and out of my little short 16-inch barrel I get around 2,500 feet per second. I zero this rifle about 1.25 inches high at 100 yards and am dead on at 160 yards and about 4 inches low at 225. At 225, the bullet's still traveling at 2,160 feet per second, and it hits with 1,280 foot-pounds of energy, more than adequate for mountain lions or deer. Well, so that's a lot of information, and I hope a lot of it really made sense. Now, what would I recommend for the best overall cartridge out of the newer cartridge list? Well, as you might have figured out from my glowing discussion of it, the 6.8 Western is really my favorite cartridge for pretty much anything. It's a great round and offers superb ballistics at really any range. However, that being said, if I was to choose one cartridge specifically for mountain lion hunting, it would be the 6.5 Grendel. I think it offers plenty of flexibility, more than enough knockdown power, and is light enough recoil to make it easy to handle in lightweight and short-action rifles. I killed my first mountain lion with it, and it's done an amazing job on everything that I've put it on, and it is an absolute killer on coyotes. Now we're getting down to the final part of our episode here, but before we wrap up, I want to take a moment and speak to you about zeroing your rifle. This is a critical step, and time and attention need to be paid accordingly. Now, throughout this program, you probably noticed that when I talked about zeros, I often reference zeros ranging from about 1 inch high or so at 100 to even 2.5 inches high. What I'm doing here is establishing a point-blank zero. What this is a method of zeroing that maximizes the range at which you can hold center mass on the target and will impact the target out to a given range, with your bullet never traveling above or below until you hit that maximum point-blank range. Now, as an example, let's say that your given target is the vital zone of a mountain lion, which is about 6 inches from top to bottom. In order to establish a point-blank zero, you'll want to zero your rifle so that your bullet never travels more than 2.5 to 3 inches above your point of aim. Now, the distance at which the bullet crosses back down on your point of aim becomes your point-blank zero, and the distance at which it falls to that 2.5 to 3 inches below your point of aim now becomes your maximum point-blank range. This is the maximum distance that you can simply hold center mass and still hit the target. Knowing your maximum point-blank range means that you can focus on making the shot, and you don't have to worry about holding over, holding under, dialing a turret, or finding the right drop reticle in your scope. It's just one less thing to worry about and to stress over when that mountain lion steps out of the cover. A good chronograph is helpful when figuring out at what velocity your particular rifle fires a given load, as that is a crucial piece of information you'll need to know. But if you don't have a chronograph, the published velocities for your chosen factory loads will usually get you close enough, especially for anything under about 300 yards. Once you start getting further than that, you need to have a much better idea of what your velocity is. So plug in the information into a good ballistics app on your smartphone like the one Hornady provides, will give you the applicable information for your bullet's trajectory, and you can then zero accordingly. Alternatively, a simple 100-yard zero will usually still work for most of the cartridges listed here. So I hope this episode has helped you as you gear up for your first hunt. Whatever rifle, bow, or other firearm you choose, make sure that you put in plenty of practice to become proficient at the ranges you expect a shot to occur. As we conclude this episode of Long Walker Outdoors, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to each of you who joined us. Click a like and subscribe to be sure you get all of our content. Drop a comment to let me know what you think about this episode and what I can do to improve for the next time. Now remember, the trail never truly ends, and the end of one hunt marks the beginning of the next. So until next time, may your hunts be bountiful and your shots true. This is Long Walker Outdoors, signing off. Happy hunting, and may the wilderness always call you home.